If you're a conservative like me, you were absolutely blown away and disappointed by the fact that Representative Trey Gowdy is endorsing Senator Marco Rubio for president. With me now to discuss this and a few other things is staff writer for The Federalist, Bre Payton, and also the president of Bannon Communications, Brad Bannon. Bre, are you heartbroken?
Ultimately, I think that Gowdy's endorsement of Rubio is going to, end up being very powerful and helpful to him. And we just have to take a look at what Donald Trump has been saying about this and kind of how he's been bashing Gowdy and taking to Twitter to do that, to know that this is really going to end up helping him, come 2016.
Helping him meaning helping Marco.
Yeah, exactly. So, this endorsement from Gowdy is really going to go a long way in terms of helping Marco kind of appeal to, more of the hardline, staunch conservative voters. And ultimately, Donald Trump is seeing Marco Rubio more and more as a threat to him. And so he's kind of taken to kind of trashing Trey Gowdy's, handling of the Benghazi committee and the way that he's been doing that, because he sees that this endorsement is going to go a long way and ultimately end up helping Marco Rubio appeal to those voters who, are more conservative and are unhappy with the establishment and the Republican Party and such.
I think this is going to, because Marco Rubio, with real conservatives like myself, is known as Mr. Amnesty. I think this is absolutely going to crush Trey Gowdy's career long term, to be quite honest. Let me go over to Mr. Bannon. I mean, as a Democrat and a liberal, are you just smiling? I mean, are you so happy to hear this?
Well, first of all, I don't think Gowdy endorsement is going to matter a whole lot. My guess is very few Republicans in Iowa know who he is, and I doubt it's going to have much of an impact. All I can say is that Chairman Gowdy is now chairing the seventh, and I repeat, the seventh committee to investigate Benghazi. The Benghazi committee has been going on longer than the Watergate hearings. The last time that the Benghazi committee had Hillary Clinton on TV interviewing her, her numbers took a big jump upwards. And that's because there are a lot of other issues that Americans care more about, and they don't like to see Republican committee after Republican committee after Republican committee beating on Hillary Clinton.
Well, let me tell you the difference between Watergate and Benghazi. 4 Americans didn't die in Watergate. So let me come back. I want to play something on. I want you to listen to this. Go ahead, roll it.
This campaign, particularly coming from the other side of the aisle with the Republican candidates, has gotten mean-spirited. And the rhetoric has been hateful towards so many people. We are better than that, and we need to stand up and demonstrate it all the time.
Okay, well, Donald and Hillary are now basically neck to neck. We got here all likely voters in the last, Rasmussen poll. Clinton at 37%, Trump at 36%. Bre, what do you say to this?
I think that ultimately, I'd be kind of wary at taking too much away from this poll that has them, tied, because I think time and time again we've seen that polling has failed, especially, in this kind of election cycle, particularly looking at Matt Belvin's victory in Kentucky. He was slated to lose that gubernatorial election by a significant chunk, and then he ended up coming out the next day and winning ultimately by a landslide. So I think, looking at polling and kind of hoping that that's going to be, predictive of what's going to happen come November, I think is kind of like a false assumption to make. So I think, yeah, maybe 1,000 people, which is the number of people that were surveyed in that poll, maybe 1,000 people say that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are neck and neck, but ultimately what 1,000 people say, very small slice of the electorate, doesn't really help us understand or take the pulse of what's going on with American voters.
Brad, I got to tell you, a lot of my friends are independent voters. They're not really into politics whatsoever. And when I sit there and I talk to them just over Christmas, we're sitting around the dinner table. I'm telling you, one Democrat after the next, all my independent buddies, they're all saying that they're going to vote for Trump. Obviously, they're not calling them on the polls. What do you think?
I think that a lot of the people who say that, you know, they're going to vote.
No, that
for
was
Donald
actually
Trump
Bre. That was actually for Bre. Let Brad weigh in on that. Go ahead, Brad.
Well, first of all, I agree with Bre on what she said about polls. Now, I think polling, if you choose the 1,000 people very carefully, can be a representative of public opinion. But I think before the parties actually select their nominees, I think general election polls about what's going to happen next November are very misleading. Let me say one thing, though. America's closely divided. And whoever wins the presidential race is going to do it with less than 55% of the vote, probably more likely 52%, because America is divided down the middle. And I think we're going to have a fairly close presidential election, whoever the nominees are.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you without question, because like I said, when I talk to different people, and most of the people I talk to are apolitical, they're independents, or that's what they consider themselves, I never hear anybody say Marco Rubio. I never hear anybody say Hillary Clinton. What I hear them say is Donald Trump. And why they say Donald Trump is because they want their lives better protected. They want their jobs back. They want to make more money. And Donald Trump is saying all the things that people want to hear. Just yes or no from both of you. I'm running out of time. Bre, yes or no? Does Donald Trump have a real chance?
I think that remains to be seen.
Brad, back to you. Yes
I don't
or no?
think he has a real chance because I don't think he's going to be the Republican nominee. I think someone like Ted Cruz will eventually be the Republican nominee.
I think you are dead, absolutely dead wrong. I think Donald Trump's going to wrap it up.